Good evening. This is Keto Confab, and today is August the 10th of 2022. And I'm Elizabeth Hanson, your host, along with my husband, Scott Hanson, who doesn't have his video on for whatever reason. And we are a group who are trying to follow the keto lifestyle according to the teachings of Dr. Annette Benning. No, not Benning. Bosworth. Benning. Annette Bosworth, and we're doing the best we can, and we're not perfect, and we're just here to support each other and help each other along the way. And so for this week, I had a regular week, but I did watch a very interesting video that is not necessarily about keto, and I have it up on my other computer so I can get the title right. I like to watch a lot of health-related videos, and one of the reasons I started keto was to improve my overall health. And most people who are doing keto want to avoid like dementia or diabetes or reverse a health problem. And so I thought it was very interesting. Most of you probably know about TED Talks, and I found a TED Talk from Salt Lake City TEDx, and it is entitled Teeth, Your Body's Early Warning System. And it was given by a dentist who talks about how gum disease and problems with teeth and even cavities in children can be our first signals that our liver or our kidneys or our lungs are struggling and that we should change something in our lifestyle. And I found it particularly interesting because in the work that I do, I work with traditional Chinese medicine concepts and ideas all the time, and particular teeth are actually related to particular organs. So let's say your bicuspid is related to your lungs. I'm looking for my chart so I can show you, but I can't find it right now. So it really fit in with what I've learned through traditional Chinese medicine and the work that I do, that teeth can be an indicator. So like if you have a particular tooth that's giving you pain, but it doesn't have any obvious infection or cavities or gum disease around it, but it's giving you pain, it could be an early warning system from the body telling you, oh, the organ that is related to that particular tooth system is struggling. And she talked a lot about children and how we feed our children and how it leads, to dental cavities and gum disease, and how we need to be more conscious of the food that we are eating and that we are feeding our children and everything. And I just thought it was really interesting, and I'll put a link to it in the video for this week so that you can check it out if you want to. If you don't want to, that's okay. But that was pretty much my week. I don't think I have anything else to report, anything else to say, except for I did receive from Tammy, very kindly sent me this one sheet summary from the book. I think it's from Dr. Eric Westman, yeah, Dr. Eric Westman. This book, the End Your Carb Confusion stuff, and End Your Carb Confusion, yeah. I didn't find this summary in the book, my edition, but Tammy sent it, and this is great, and I've downloaded it on my computer so I can now share it with my clients and stuff, because a lot of them are interested in keto because they've watched me lose all this weight. And I printed a number of them out so that Scott can take them to the college and hand them out to people that he's talked to about keto. So it is a handy dandy little tool. So thank you very much, Tammy, for sending that on. It's very handy.
Do you have the book?
Yeah, I have the book. And
That food list came from the class. I told you I took a class with him, just like Annette's class. This was a class, and that food list was in the class stuff. And
okay.
so
Yeah, because I looked through the book, I found 4 pages where he basically outlines his whole program of keto, and then it goes on to talk about how to modify your carbs in case you're a person who needs more carbs. I mean, even Dr. Boz talks about there are some people who do better with 30 carbs rather than 20. And I mean, I personally have found that out because Scott can go up to 50 carbs a day and still be doing very well, not having bad breath, not having a lot of gas. His eczema is fine. He sleeps fine, and everything. But I shouldn't. I can't go up to 50. That's not good for me. I retain fluid and I gain weight. So anyway, I do have to apologize for anybody who was looking for the recording from last week. It downloaded and I stepped away from the computer and I forgot to upload it anywhere. So I'll do that tonight once I upload this. When I'm uploading this one, I'll upload that and then I'll upload the new one. Trying to keep everything straight. Sometimes the brain doesn't work on all 6 cylinders, you know, not firing on all cylinders. So anyway, I don't know. I can't remember if no, I think I did talk about the brain swelling last week, that I watched that video of the neurologist talking about ADD and ADHD. They're now finding it's from inflamed brains and everything. So I'll link that video in last week's because we talked about that last week. So how was everybody else's week? Tell me what you did this week, what you learned, any questions you have.
well, I went to the doctor and had my annual physical and had lots of blood work done. So I was pretty happy with that. I don't usually get my hemoglobin A1C done because I've never had a problem, but you know, I get it. I just asked her to do it. So it was at 5.0. So
Great.
That's good. And my glucose at that moment was 90. So that was fine. Okay,
good.
And I don't know if I've talked about uric acid, but I take a drug for high uric acid. I've never had a gout attack, but I had high uric acid. Like it was at 10 when I started taking it. And it's supposed to be more like 5 or 4, you know? So I've been taking it for years. Let's say I've been taking it for 10 years or more than 10 years. And now that I've been on keto for a while, I thought, well, I wonder what would happen if I stopped going on it. So in about October or November last year, I had to go to the doctor for an eye problem. And I said I wanted to try going off of it. And I wanted to come back in 3 or 4 months and take my uric acid and see what it did. And I probably went from 5 or 4.8 to 6 point something in just that 90 days or 120 days. So I started taking it again. So now so I had that taken again and it was at 5.2. So so it's getting back to where it's supposed to be. And then of course I've had to tell my doctor many times that I'm not taking a statin, because every time I go in, that's the recommendation that they have to tell you. And she puts it in my files that patient refused, and patient refused. And so, so this last time after a patient refused, I said, you know, I want to go in and have a CAC score, because I guess the American Heart Association says that if you have a 0 score, the statins, you know, you don't need a statin. And I had a 0 score. So I told her, I took a copy. Well, she had a copy on the screen because it's all in the same medical system and right here where I live, although it wasn't with their doctor. So I had a 0. And so she did. And I said, and I'm not taking the statin. And she did not even say a word about it. But my cholesterol is, I mean, I think it's really good. My HDL, which is supposed to be the high number, is 86, which is way over, you know, the normal range. And my triglycerides are at 45, which is super low. In
Yeah.
fact, some places have told, when I went and had my CAC score done and my triglycerides were about 45, it said it could not calculate my LDL because my triglycerides were so low. So, you know, in this case today they were 45. So, and then my HDL, which is of course the one that's the problem one, is 146. So, I mean, I'm fine at 241. I'm not going to do anything about it. My triglycerides are super low. My HDL is super high. That's more important than the LDLs from what I read.
Well, you know, that book that I talked to you all about last week, the book that says Stay Off My Operating Table, I got my copy of it. I thought I had it down here. No, it must be up on my bedside table. He says the most important number, and he's a cardiologist, he says the most important number in our cholesterol panel is not the LDL or the HDL, it's the triglycerides. And if your triglycerides are low, forget the other number. He says, I don't care if it's 400. If the triglycerides are low to nothing, he says, it doesn't matter. You know,
45 is pretty low to nothing.
Yeah.
My triglycerides, they were 106 in 2016, but they've always been low, even when 128 is the highest, and I say that was 2014. So they've never been extremely high. Like some people I know have very high triglycerides, and that 128 was even before I even was doing keto. So that was eating standard American diet, and it only put me at 128, 117. So I'm thinking that I just must be genetically predisposed to having low triglycerides. And now that I'm on keto and not eating all that sugar, it's down to 45. So I probably was doing good before and didn't know it. Not that I should be eating all that sugar, but in 45 is pretty darn low, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I've known people with triglycerides well over 600. And, you know, they've wanted to put those people on statins, and they've been on statins, and the statins didn't lower the triglycerides at all. What it took to lower their triglycerides was to change their job, because they had a very stressful job. And so they changed their job and got into a much less stressful job. And then they were fine. Their triglycerides came down to the 200s somewhere. So, you know, it's very individual for each person, and it's good for us to check in and make sure that ours aren't going crazy. But if our triglycerides are staying in a halfway decent number, you know, and especially now, you said you had the CAC and it was 0. That is so fantastic, Tammy. You know, with a low triglyceride of 45 and a 0,
I'm good to go.
Yeah, there is nothing to say about statins, you know, in that situation. Absolutely nothing, you know. And your A1C at a 5, come on.
Yeah, I've never had any problems with my sugar, but I just wanted to get it tested. Usually they just do the sugar one. I just looked and my uric acid was at 4.8, so I stopped taking the meds. It went up to 6.5, and now it's back to 5.2. And they say the normal range is up to like 8, but the normal range does not mean the best range. And even Dr. Boz talks about wanting your uric acid below 5.
Yeah. Do you have the 4S6 little monitor?
I do not have that one. I have the Keto Mojo.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking, you know, if you just want to monitor it, you know, then you could just get the little testing strips, you know. I got some for myself, and when I've indulged myself with carbs, I have one toe, and it's not my big toe, it's a third toe on my left foot that will swell more than the other ones and get slightly red and be irritated. And if that ever happens, I've tested my what's it called? Uric acid. And I'm like at 6.3 when I'm in that situation. Then I wait a couple of days and it will drop down to 5 or below 5. But that happens when I hit the carbs. When I do, not if I do, because I do from time to time.
I didn't think the uric acid moved that quickly. I mean, even Dr. Boz says it takes a long time to bring it down. And but maybe because you were inflamed, as that was a temporary thing. And then when it
Yeah.
went away, you went back to normal.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I've worked with patients who have gout. They've been diagnosed with gout. Their uric acid is high, and their doctors tell them to stop eating red meat. And they come into me because the uric acid medication isn't working and they're still having problems with gout. And I tell them, okay, stay off the red meat, but ditch the carbs and sugar and let's see what happens. And they'll turn their gout around in 2 days, 2 days of totally dropping their carbs, their gout. So I don't know. I've never taken a class on uric acid and read a book on it or anything, but for me, I've seen clients who are inflamed. They stay off the carbs for 2 or 3 days and their pain relieves and everything. I didn't have the ability to test them, but I think it can be a case by case if they just overindulge in carbs,
See, I've
and
never had the gout attack. Even when I had uric acid of 10, I've never had an attack. I didn't go to the doctor for anything like that. He just ran his regular blood panel and came back and said, oh, wow, you're at 10. And let's give him some stuff to bring that down. Probably the gout attack would have been the next week or something. I don't know. But my dad
yeah.
had gout attacks. And so maybe it's,
Oh.
who knows?
Maybe that's the thing, Tammy. Maybe hereditarily you are prone to have higher uric acid numbers, and your dad had higher numbers and went into gout attacks and everything, and the older you get, maybe the more likely you're going to go into gout, but you found a way to avoid that. Well, number one, you're taking the medication, and number two, you stay keto, So let me just ask, you went off the medication like in October, November, and then you had it retested like 3 months later.
Well, it was
And
supposed to be 3, but it was closer to 4.
okay,
Yeah.
so 4 months later, was that during the time you were visiting your little gluten-free bakery down the road?
Uh,
Your keto
um,
bakery a little too much?
Let me see, I had the blood work done in March and it's August. Probably not as much as I did after that.
Okay.
It was probably more after that I went on the little keto too much food stuff. But I don't know the timing on I don't know the timing exactly.
Yeah, I can't remember things
was
myself.
March, the end of March, and maybe not quite yet.
Okay.
Although she did have it started around Valentine's Day because she made a Valentine's box with desserts, and that probably started me. So that was February 14th. So, so probably I started indulging a little too much starting in February. So maybe I was 2/3 of the way through before I started, or something.
And you were drinking your.
Well, that didn't start till summertime. So
that started in summer. Okay, so
that
wasn't.
was when it got to be 100 degrees every day.
Yeah.
You see, now I'm drinking water.
Water. Everybody's got their water. Happy water.
I do drink maybe, a couple times a week, but it's certainly not a gallon a day like I was. It may be this much once, So.
Have you noticed any change in your weight?
Not yet.
Okay, because that was like 2 weeks ago we talked about it.
It was.
Did the math.
I have stopped doing that, and I'm trying to go to OMAD. I'm successful. I would rather eat my OMAD and take my food to work with me and do it at lunchtime, but sometimes I just haven't gotten to that habit yet, and so
Mhm.
That's my time that I would rather eat more food.
Yeah. I have to eat some steak yet tonight. Um,
I have to eat.
and it's so late. I know it's 7:30, but I still have to eat some steak because I've found that steak is a very good source of potassium for me. And since I'm not eating tomatoes anymore because they seem to cause some inflammation in me, um, I have to have some steak or I start having weird dizzy sensations in my head because my potassium's down. And I tried a potassium supplement, but I think it just was too much for my system. And so I have to do it with food. And I forgot to eat some broccoli earlier today. So I have to have some steak or I'm going to be in trouble. So I'm going to be eating late tonight. um, but anyway, so how's everybody else?
I don't have that much to report. I will tell you, I'm taking care of my 7-year-old granddaughter again this week. And she basically dominates my life. And, I make her a lot of peanut butter and honey sandwiches and, give her a glass of milk. And I put some keto chocolate in there. Keto chocolate powder to make it. She thinks it's chocolate milk, but I don't think it has a little bit of stevia. I don't think her mother probably wouldn't like her having any stevia, but it's okay.
It's better to ask for forgiveness later than asking for permission.
Of course, my granddaughter loves it. So that, what are you gonna do? But so I haven't really been that faithful, and I haven't gone to very many meetings this week, and my whole life is upside down. I haven't done any piano.
Oh,
We're doing a lot of reading and music. She's practicing music, and well, we're just doing her things. She's a little girl, and she's visiting grandma for 2 weeks, and I want to make it a happy time. So
mhm,
You have to build your memories now.
mhm.
yeah, and it's working out good. My husband tried to take her today to the American Girl store and try to get her a little puzzle. And I don't know if you do, but American Girl stores are not in every town. There are a lot of towns that don't have, but we have one in Charlotte. And he drove to it, parked their car, walked all through the mall to get to the place. And they don't have any puzzles anymore. So here she was all ready to get a puzzle. And then so he had to buy some other little thing just to keep her from getting upset, But this is the way it goes. This is the way it goes.
Mhm.
I did want to say I was very intrigued last night with Dr. Boz's live. I don't know. Did anyone else watch it?
No.
Yeah. She had been at the Orlando Keto Summit,
Mhm.
and evidently there were a couple of presenters there that she wasn't really happy with. And I think she was a little bit irritated that she was on the same billing with them.
Oh.
And she wasn't specific about who it was. And she said, these people are very fine as coaches and everything. But there was evidently a woman who had what do you call it? When a woman goes into menopause, premenopausal. And the guy was making a suggestion that evidently was way out in left field. And she didn't want to stand up and tell him, you're crazy. But she did want to tell us that she didn't feel comfortable being at that place. And she'll be more careful with where she presents in the future. And that I have to tell you that for me is the very first time I've ever heard her say anything negative about anybody else. She is so super careful to be respectful of other people's choices.
Mhm.
But I guess this is where she felt like she was being held up on the same place at podium as they were, and she needed to say, this is not working. This is not right. But anyway, I don't know why I was surprised by it. It's her prerogative. But she's sort of one of my idols, and she's never made any negative remarks about anybody. And
Mhm.
it's the first time I ever heard her do that. So
Well,
also, I wanted to mention, in case you all didn't see it or won't see it, she's planning on having a new course. And she has decided that it is important for her to have a team working with her. And she is actually in the process of training, I think she said 10 people to be, I don't know how many people she's expecting to be in her course, but I would that each one of the 10 trainers would take care of a small subset of the class, and they would actually work more intensively with each person. So, maybe check their morning numbers every day and be specific about what the person is dealing with and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And boy, she mentioned that in the live, and suddenly in the chat, there were like 10 people saying, I want to be a trainer. I want to be a trainer. They want to get that. They feel like there's special, education going to be done, but that was very interesting too. But I don't know if any of you are interested in need, and it's not going to be one-on-one with Dr. Boz, but it'll be close.
Mhm.
It'll be close. So it might keep your eye out. I think it's probably coming in the next couple of months or something.
Is this another keto class, or is she just
She
revising her
hasn't
keto
named it yet.
continuum?
She hasn't
okay.
named it, but it has to do with people that have been trying to do her program and are gotten stuck on a plateau
Oh,
or
okay.
something like that. And she wants to, get them past their plateau or whatever like that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I am probably somebody that needs that, but I don't want to do any more. I'm doing the brains class, and that's enough for 2022. I don't like the commitments. I don't like commitments.
Well, I definitely need the constant kick in the pants from somebody, pointing their finger at me saying, you ate what? You decided that this person who has lost 100 pounds should go and eat that. I mean, I really, that's something I could use. Accountability is big. And poor Scott, he is stuck
I'm
with
raising my
me.
hand.
Yeah, he's raising his hand. He's like, anybody that could help me whip this woman into shape. I mean, please. Because I mean, he says, you ate what? You bought what? Why did you do that? And I'm like, I don't know. But anyway, so I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to look at it and everything.
Wilma's saying it might cost more than you think, and I also am thinking that.
Well,
I know that you're going to publish this, and I'm trying to be careful about what I say,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think that there might be a financial need there in Tampa, and she said something at the beginning about having to go see the accountant. And
Yeah.
and then she never really followed that up, and then So I think that money is a problem. I'm going to have to black out for a couple of minutes. I got a family need here. Sorry.
Oh, okay, sure, sure. Yeah, well, I don't doubt that she's not in need of money. You know, it is not cheap to pick up stakes and move your family across the country, and it is very difficult to get settled and get all the right insurances and links and everything to people to really get a practice going. I mean, I have a practice, and if we were to move from where we live, it would be a good 6 months to a year before my practice could really be up and running, you know, again. And, you know, when you're used to being a 2-income family and you go down to a basically 1-income family, then of course, looking for alternative income streams would be of interest. So Melody has brought something up in the chat. Let's see. She says she's still not in ketosis, let alone autophagy. She's staying about 30 to 40 carbs a day, so probably gaining a little bit of weight, I'm guessing. Work has just been crazy, so out of sync with eating times. Oh, well, but even though you're out of sync with eating times, if you're eating the right food, I don't know why you would be out of ketosis. I mean, as long as you're staying away from sugars and stuff. I mean, even if I happen to dabble in the ice cream, yeah, I'm out of ketosis, maybe for 2 days. But then if I eat, you know, just what I'm supposed to eat, I get back into ketosis. So anybody have any ideas there? Any comments, snide remarks?
I'm curious, Melody, are you counting net carbs or total carbs?
I'm assuming those are total carbs. Melody is our vegetarian, so she eats more veg than the rest of us probably do. And those carbs add up.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. And if she's eating nuts and everything, that adds up pretty quick too. Oh, it's total carbs, she says in the, well, just keep trying, Mel. You know, it's tricky business doing this as a vegetarian, but you've had good success. Are you still feeling better? You know, before you had all sorts of stuff going on with you. It says, I've been eating yogurt, keto yogurt, and protein keto drinks. It's just too hot there. Yeah. Okay. The keto drinks. Does anyone else do keto drinks? I mean, I don't because I'm allergic to like half the stuff in them, but anybody else do keto drinks?
I make smoothies.
You make smoothies? What do you make those with?
Almond milk, a little bit of whipping cream, a little bit of fruit. I weigh it out so it's not excessive.
Mhm.
And then a little bit of cream cheese and a little bit of a sweetener of choice, which I don't use erythritol, which is what they had in the recipe because that's got carbs in it. So I just use a squeeze bottle and that's it.
Oh, boy, cream cheese. I've never thought of putting cream cheese in a smoothie.
That's what my recipe said. So that's what I do. And it's just makes it, you know, Bobby just thickens it up a little bit.
So when you make a smoothie like that, about how many carbs is that, Tammy?
Well, I haven't measured it, but I believe that the almond milk has 1 or 2. And I measure out the fruit with a scale. So I try to make it around 8 to 10 carbs for the fruit. But you could do less than that too. I mean, it's a matter what you put in there. If you want to do a different flavor, you could put vanilla, you know,
Just
vanilla
vanilla
flavoring in it.
extract.
Skip the fruit. Yeah, and skip the fruit if you wanted to, you know, watch it. or put even extract in. I had some strawberry extract one time and I put that in. It didn't seem to give a very good flavor though, but
Mm.
so I do try to limit the the carbs are really in the fruit. So if you cut out the fruit, because cream cheese doesn't have any, the whipping cream didn't have any, almond milk has very little. It's the fruit that kills you. And whatever sweetener you use, if you used erythritol like the recipe said, I think I calculated it was 8 carbs and 8 carbs
Wow.
along with the fruit. I wasn't doing that. That's why I used my little squirt bottle that you squirt for 1 second. So yeah, I do a smoothie sometimes.
So, Tina, I'm sorry. What's your name again?
No, it's Tina. I sometimes
Tina,
go by
okay.
Christine. That's fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was going, I think her name's Christine, but it says S Tina there.
You
And
know,
I'm like,
well, it's Stina. Stina's my
Stina.
nickname. So yeah.
oh, Stina. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
okay.
It just confusing me, you know. Do you do the keto drinks and stuff? I mean, I see them in the store in the little packets and you're supposed to mix them in water and everything, but they all
I
have stevia.
do. But so I do, it's rare, but I do like a keto chow mix, but it's only if I don't think I can get to something that's keto if I'm going somewhere. But I don't use them as meal replacement generally. It's just if I have a situation I think I'm going to be in. Because I don't like the taste of them either.
I know, I have keto chow and, but I don't have them very often. I've tried to like them and I do like them for the most part, but I will take one and have it for a meal replacement for lunch. When I do have one, it's not in addition to my meal, it's usually instead of my meal, for my meal.
I find I have to stay below 20 carbs for me to stay in ketosis, or even attempt to stay in ketosis, because I'm not consistent either. But my target is always 20, and I don't like to drink my carbs. So a lot of times I won't take a keto drink. I'd rather eat my carbs if I'm going to eat too many carbs.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tina. I don't want to drink my carbs. Plus, most of those have stevia in it, and I don't tolerate stevia. So, yeah. So Melody says that she thinks it's the erythritol / stevia that might be contributing to her weight. She's not really gaining weight, but she did gain an inch around the middle. So those inches, when you're gaining weight, when you're gaining inches, but not gaining weight, that's usually some sort of inflammation. It's some sort of fluid trapped in the tissues, and that usually means you're eating something that isn't syncing really well with the body. So whether it's the erythritol or the stevia, that really could be it, Melody. And let's see. I use the keto yogurt and keto protein drinks for the protein, 15 grams. Yeah. Is that all the protein you get in a day? Because if that's all the protein you get in a day, that's really not enough. But so, yeah, I tried a new kind of yogurt. They have a new low carb yogurt at our store, and it has monk fruit sweetener in it. Ugh, that really tastes bad. I do not like monk fruit, but I mean, I've watched so many videos, online of people using monk fruit sweetener and they just love it. It might be, those things that you can taste and not taste, like BHP or whatever. I might be a taster of monk fruit and other people aren't. Maybe it's genetic because I don't like that. 48, she's supposed to get 48 grams. So I have several drinks and yogurts. It's 15 grams each. And she loves monk fruit. Okay. Well, I'm happy for you because I wish I could do it because I love the creaminess of the yogurt, but Yeah, and it was supposedly cookies and cream flavor, but no wheat in it, no actual cookies in the yogurt, which is good for me because I can't do wheat. Um, but with the monk fruit, ooh, so
I've
bad.
been making my own. Do you make your own at all?
Well, I'm not supposed to have milk. I have a
Ah,
sensitivity to milk, so I really shouldn't be having any yogurt, but I just love the creaminess. I want something creamy, and I haven't found anything because uh, I know you can make yogurt out of coconut milk and you can make yogurt out of almond milk, but I can't have almond milk and coconut milk. If I have too much of it, then I get into a problem. Um,
mm. Yeah, well, I make it the same way.
oh, Fairlife
Mhm.
whole milk and cream. I thought about trying to make some with a mixture of, like whipping cream and a little water to thin it out, because I don't seem to have as much trouble with the cream, you know, the fatty cream as I do with, just drinking a glass of milk. Um, I don't know.
Have you ever tried kefir? Do you know what kefir is?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Hmm.
It doesn't have any lactose in it, and
Hmm.
it's very creamy, so I don't know if you could tolerate that.
Yeah, no, I have the same problem. My nose runs. It's not a lactose problem. I used to think that my milk problem was lactose, but then I learned different. So okay. Um,
I used to
anyway.
have an awful um, postnasal drip problem when I
Hmm.
wake up in the morning.
Uh-huh.
And it's like as soon as I stood up, the gravity, just all, I mean, my husband used to laugh. He says, well, I guess you had to go to the bathroom, right? Because, I come out coughing my head off. Because it all, and then keto happened and I don't drink the milk anymore and I don't eat yogurt and I don't have that problem anymore. And it's like a miracle.
Hmm.
It's a wonderful thing when by accident things get fixed.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
told you last week about the magnesium, right?
Oh, I can't remember last
That
week.
was in the swimming pool. Didn't I
Oh,
talk
okay.
about that? So I took
I
I took the granddaughter to the swimming pool and I went to the outdoor pool instead of the indoor pool, which of
hmm.
course they use different chemicals because of the sunlight and everything.
Hmm.
And Wednesday night, we had gone Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Wednesday night my leg cramped up. I didn't tell you this story.
I don't think so.
And I couldn't even go to sleep. It was so bad. It was like a, severe Charlie horse.
Hmm.
And stupid, I didn't think about it. And then in the morning, my other leg started cramping up. I said, okay, this is not a sprain. This is something internal.
Hmm.
And I said, well, I haven't taken my magnesium. So I took 2 magnesium tablets and within 4 hours, the whole problem was gone. It was like I was a cripple. I was a cripple for like 12 hours thinking that I was going to be crippled like this for the rest of my life. And I had no idea how it happened. And then I took the magnesium tablets.
Yeah. Oh, magnesium. I learned the hard way that if I forget my magnesium, I don't get the muscle cramps and stuff. My blood pressure starts. I mean, I forgot my magnesium one day, and by late afternoon, I had a terrible headache. And okay, all right, maybe I hadn't drank enough water, but man, my blood pressure was really high. And then I realized I didn't take my magnesium all day long. And it's happened a couple of times since I started keto, that I've forgotten my magnesium and my blood pressure just soars, you know. And so I need to remember that. I need some alarm bell to go off. Take your magnesium, stupid, you know, or you're gonna suffer. 'Cause, man, eh,
Anyway, I just realized why I hadn't told you the story because it happened after our meeting last week.
Oh, yeah.
So it
Yeah,
happened.
because it
yeah.
was Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, just have fruit and whipped cream. Yeah, I don't eat fruit anymore because I have found that fruit really pushes my blood sugar up. Even I could eat a chocolate bar and it doesn't push my blood sugar up as much as fruit. And now it drops very quickly with fruit, whereas chocolate bar it maintains a little longer. But yeah, and amazingly enough, rice. I I love rice. I like fried rice. I like boiled rice. I like rice with butter. I like rice with soy sauce. But rice does not like me. Ooh, it more than chocolate bars, more than a milkshake, rice pushes my blood sugar up. It's just crazy. I mean, I would have never before keto, I would have never guessed ever that a person's blood sugar could go high because they ate rice, but wow. Oh, and all the rice I've eaten. I lived in Japan. I ate a lot of rice, and we own 2 rice cookers. I can't tell you how many rice cookers we've purchased as a married couple in the 37 years we've been married. But we've had lots of them and went through them, and we'd have rice 3 times a day. It's crazy, but
Yeah,
anyway.
we used to make a batch of rice every morning.
Big pot,
Yeah,
4 or 5 cups of rice, and
Yep.
we'd eat on it all day long. Whew. So anyway,
it was usually white rice too.
yeah,
I
I
tried to
don't like,
introduce brown rice, but
no, it didn't go over.
I
Brown
tried
You
to
rice.
guys
mix
aren't
a
eating
little
that
brown
stuff
rice.
anymore because that's gonna mess you up.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no. No, in fact, I've seen the rice cooker sitting there on the sideboard going, why don't we get rid of that?
Well, Hannah still eats rice
w-
every now and then.
we have a large one and then we have a small one.
Can't you
And
cook eggs
Yep.
in that?
I don't know.
There are a number of things that you can do in it. You might be able to cook eggs in it. Yeah.
I don't know. But we have a large one and a small one. And our youngest girl still eats rice. She's not doing keto with us, even though I think she should. But, she's 21. She's young. She's thin. She doesn't think about things.
She's eating fewer carbs now than she used to, though.
Yeah, she is eating fewer carbs than she used to. But yeah, so I don't know. Anybody want a big rice cooker? No, nobody in this group wants a rice cooker. Yeah, better late than
I'll tell
never,
you a funny
Renee.
story about a rice cooker, though.
Okay.
We hosted a Chinese boy for 7 years, and he was going off to college, and I went to a yard sale and I got him a rice cooker
Mhm.
because he, of course, eats a lot of rice. And I didn't realize it. And we got home and it was not English or
Chinese.
Chinese. It was Korean.
Oh,
And so I said, "Oh, Meng Fei, can you use this? I don't even know. I can't read anything on it." He said, "Well, the symbols in Korean and China are very similar, even
Mhm.
though the words are different spoken out.
mhm.
The meaning on and off and high and low are the symbols are the same."
Mhm.
He said, "I can still use this." I said, "Great." So
Yeah. The Chinese, Japanese, and Koreans all use the traditional Chinese kanji characters. And
yeah.
then the Koreans and the Japanese add their own alphabet type systems to their languages. The Chinese are pretty pure kanji only, but he's right. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, so welcome, Renee. How goes things? I don't think you were with us last week.
Yes, she was.
Was she?
Yeah, last week I was.
Oh, were you? Okay. It
Yeah.
was Melody that was
You
gone.
evidently
I'm
missed a lot.
telling you. I'm telling you, I don't know where I've been, but I haven't
No
been in
problem.
my right mind.
No problem.
I forgot to post last week's video. I have never done that in nearly a year, you know. I've never done that, and I forgot completely, just out of my head. And I haven't been on Facebook much, and I don't know.
Renee, are you doing better this week?
Yes, yes, except for I had a little bit of a snafu on Sunday evening. Our church had a bunch of people that gathered together, and I can't remember what all we were doing, but they were having a dinner, and I ate a few things that I wasn't supposed to, and then they brought out, one of the kids was having a birthday cake, and I'm like, well, you know, I haven't actually had cake in, like, I can't even remember how long, right? Wrong decision. I'm
Oh no.
telling you, it was an ice cream cake,
Oh.
and oh, I am telling you, it was like sugar overload. My system was like, what did you do to me? You know, other than that, I had eaten really good at that meal. I ate, you know, they had some ham, so I had a little ham. I didn't have the other high carby stuff, but I was like, well, you know, I hadn't had a cake in a long time. I was like, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
So apparently I have to keep messing up before I remember that my body is not happy when I do that.
Yeah, well, before you got here, I said, you know, there are times when I say to myself, why did I do that? You know, I know better than that. And Scott raised his hand. He's like, oh yeah, I know, I live with that. Oh my goodness. It's terrible. Anyway, so
Well, I'm sorry I was so late joining everyone. As you all know from last week, my computer died, and you know, when you lose that much information, you don't realize what all you've lost until you need one of those forms that you no longer have anymore. That you have to recreate. I'm like going doggone. So I was so hyper focused on recreating some follow-up forms for my clinic that I looked down and was like, well, criminy. So sorry, guys.
that's okay. You can catch up later. So, Tina, how are you doing? Oh, you're
You're
muted.
still muted.
There we go. I'm doing okay. I'm finally getting into a rhythm of at least doing a regular fast every week. So now I do Sunday. I start Sunday and I go for about, I try to go to 48. I usually make it to about 44-ish. It's just because of my timing, I think. But I really want to get to a 72. I think I'm going to need to go a few more weeks at about that 41 range though. And then, you know, right after that, I'm finding, and it's going to sound really bizarre, but I need to have like, you know, a quarter of a cup of cream at night, right before my window closes, before I go to bed, so that my ketones are really high in the morning, because I don't seem to be metabolizing enough fat to keep my ketones high. So still nudging things, but I'm doing okay. I'm feeling at least really committed to eating the things I'm supposed to in the windows I'm supposed to, and still figuring this out. So that's a big change for me. I used to be somebody that took a while to really get committed, but I feel like it's easier now.
Melody's giving you a clap or a wave or something there.
Okay, thanks, Melody.
I watched this great video last night on YouTube, and it was about these two guys who did a 7-day fast.
Damn.
Yeah, it was cool because what they did was they went in and had I think it was a CT scan or an MRI, and had their body fat on their stomach examined.
Yep.
And then they had a way of monitoring they had different app things that they monitored their attitude, you know, how they were happy, sad, you know, tired. And then they monitored any other drawbacks? Like, did they have muscle spasms? Did they had and they had a something that tracked their sleep and they would track like what little all they had was, let's see, water, coffee, and tea, and they had also some little salt things and some mineral things that at the end of this video you find out that's what they've been adding, that has this mineral electrolytes mix that was really, really cool. And he talked a lot about keto, and he talked a lot about, you know, these diets. He goes, I've done fasting before, that, you know, they talked about these are things that tell you when you're not getting enough salt, when you're not getting enough magnesium, when you're not getting enough potassium. And so it was kind of interesting because watching this, I was like going, you know, I might be able to do a fast. But the way he did it was he says, first off, don't try and do a huge amount when you first do it. He goes, try to do a small one, try to do a half a day, you know, or if you're already down to say 2 meals a day, try to do 12 hours, try to do 24 hours, but don't try to jump into some super long fast. He goes, because your body won't be happy with you. And he says, you'll have a whole lot of problems. But it was really a good video. So if I remember, Elizabeth, I'll try to send you the link.
I think I might have gotten a notification of that or something. I didn't watch it, but yeah, send me a link to it. I'll try and add it to the thingy for this video. Man, talk about swollen brains. My brain must just be, man, not good.
Making me feel good.
Yeah. Anyway, well, hey, Wilma, I know you don't like to talk much, but just want to acknowledge that you're there. And if you do ever have something to say it.
Talk tonight.
Oh, okay.
I went back into fasting this week. I broke my 46-hour fast last night with a Dr. Boz ratio of 15.26.
Wow.
Ate in a 2-hour window, went back into another 46-hour fast. I'll break tomorrow.
Oh, wow. I think the lowest ratio I have ever gotten is 18, and I haven't seen one of them in a few months. So, wow. You're great, Wilma.
No kidding.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy to be with Wilma.
So Wilma, how did you feel after that? Like, have you done this before? Like, have you done the 46, take your break, go back to your 46? And how do you feel doing that? She's on mute.
Mhm.
Sorry.
That's right.
Last year I did 8 72-hour fasts, then I went into some 46-hour fasts, just sporadic after that. This year I did 10 72-hour fasts. I only took 1 week off because we were traveling that week. And I took July off because we were traveling, so I went back to 3 meals a day. But when we got back, I wasn't getting my ketones up, and my blood sugar was hanging out in the 80s, and I wasn't happy with that. So the way I understand it, if your ketones aren't coming up and your blood sugar's kind of stable, you have a lot of insulin. So I went into the fast this week to try to break the insulin, and I must have done that because when I broke the fast, my blood sugar was 58 and ketones were 3.8.
Wow.
Wow, that's
good.
amazing. Yeah, I've never been able to
Nice.
get my ketones that high, but that's a
But,
good thing
yeah,
to know.
When I start getting close to that, I start watching. I have a CGM, and I watch that. And if I'm going to be away from home, I take like some yogurt with me or some cheese or pepperoni, just in case I need something while I'm gone before I break the fast. But so far, I haven't needed it. I feel fine. I'm doing great. I was out exercising today at the Y and felt great.
Nice.
Melody wants to know, Wilma, if you take BHB, or is that just your body making the ketones?
It's just my body doing it. I took BHB when we were traveling because I knew I wouldn't have control over some of the food, but since we're home, this is what my body's making.
Okay, all right.
But I also, before I went into the fast, I did a couple of high fat days to get my ketones to working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you mean by high fat? What do you do?
I try to get my ratio at protein about 20 or under, my carbs at less than 5%, and then try to get my fat at about 80% of my calories that day.
And what is that, butter or pork belly, or what do you use?
Oh, it's butter, it's homemade mayonnaise that I make, it's bacon, cream cheese.
Yeah.
If we have a steak, I put lots of butter on it. Or
Sounds great. Sounds great.
chicken, we put lots of butter on it. I put homemade mayo on it the other night to up the fat.
Oh, talking about homemade mayo, have you guys heard about making your own bang bang sauce? Oh my gosh.
What
What's
is
a
bang
bang
bang?
bang sauce?
Okay, so there are some Chinese stores where you get some bang bang shrimp. Now I make my own boiled shrimp, but you take some of your homemade avocado mayo or whatever homemade mayo you make, and you add a little bit of that sriracha and a little bit of the Asian chili. Oh my God, it's
And
just wonderful.
G Hughes puts out one that has no sugar in it, that chili sauce. So that works good in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that because I can't tolerate sriracha. I have tried it. I can't tell you how
Too
many times,
bad.
and every time I've done it, it tears my stomach up.
Well,
And I really want to, is the problem.
well,
My
anyways,
body
it's
won't
good once in a
cooperate.
while.
Wilma, you're an inspiration.
Absolutely.
Hey,
I-
Wilma, if you ever get a chance, you might put that ratio thing on our Keto Confab page as well, because I think that would be beneficial for others to kind of understand how that works. Because I think that's a great ratio, but I don't know that everyone will have time to watch the video. But I still think that might be some useful information for someone else who might be struggling as well.
The 80 and 20 and 5%, that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and just write down what was 80, what was 20, what was 5, and then you might even put in there, like you said, some of the ways that you achieve that. Like when Patricia said, well, what are you doing on your fat? Like, is that butter, or just add in some of those extra things, because that was really useful information. And I'm just sitting here thinking, man, if I wish someone had told me that, like, a couple of months ago, because that's a great idea.
Well, one time when I was struggling trying to get my ketones up, it was another person that said, up your fat to 80%, and it made a big difference.
I know that unless I eat cheese, I don't get enough fat. I mean, I eat at least 4 eggs a day, sometimes 5, and those have some fat. And I eat a pork steak, usually half a steak. I was eating too much before, but usually just half a steak. But even with the fat on that, I don't get a lot of fat. Uh-oh.
Do you eat bacon?
Oh no, something started.
Elizabeth?
Something started playing on my computer. I don't know what to
Well, we don't
do.
hear it. Do
Oh
you eat?
no, stop.
I'm sorry, I've got to go anyway.
Okay,
God bless.
I know
Bye-bye.
we've got to call this to an end. I don't know what happened here. Okay, I found it. Oh, that was crazy. Um, it was that video that Renee suggested. She put the address to it, so I clicked on it to bring it up into a window, but I didn't think it would start playing, and then I couldn't find the window. It was
I did that when I was looking it up too, Elizabeth. Don't feel bad. I was like, oh no, stop, stop.
uh, um,
But Tina, I have not met you before, but I enjoy meeting you today, and
Thank you.
hopefully I will get to say hello to you again.
Sure.
I try to be consistent with coming on here, but as you can see from my little background, I run a Chinese medicine clinic, so sometimes I'm kind of working on stuff with patients.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm new. I've got a lot of support groups I'm attending because I'm got a couple of different, I got keto and then I got lipedema. And so I'm chasing all these support groups. So
All right.
I'm trying to
Well,
be at all of them.
sure. Well, and you might even look into and see if with any of your other health issues, if an acupuncturist it's near you, can help you.
Yeah, that's a good thought.
yeah. Okay, well, I'll call the meeting to an end. Patricia and
I
Tammy had to leave.
I see Melody asking a question, but if she's vegan, I
Yeah.
don't think I can help her.
Yeah, how do you get the other nutrients? Now, Melody, is this a question for Wilma? Be, and she struggles with ratios. Melody struggles with ratios. Is this a question for Wilma?
Yes. Oh, she said yes, but don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. Well, it's been an issue, Melody, because you're a vegetarian. And where a lot of nutrients are is in animal products, meat products. And
She says, I know, problem child.
I know you're the
Sorry.
problem child. We don't think of you that way, Melody. We're happy you put up with our carnivoristic ways. And us saying, well, we don't know how to help you since you're vegetarian. We say
Well,
that all the time.
yeah, and don't feel bad, Melody. You're getting to steal. That's normally my title is problem child.
Yeah. Yes, she is a problem. But it's hard for us to speak because like I had to stop eating tomatoes because they started causing inflammation, which a lot of the nightshade plants will
Yep.
cause inflammation. And so I had to stop eating it, but that was my main source of potassium, and I seem to have an issue with needing more potassium. And but then I found out that the meat that I'm eating has potassium in it, and so as long as I get some meat, I'm usually okay on potassium, and if not, then I hit the broccoli. But I forget broccoli a lot of times. So it's hard for us. And for me, because I have problems with milk products, it's hard for me to get the right amount of fat. And I can't eat I can't eat avocados. They cause a lot of lymph problems with me. That's where I'm with you, Tina. I have lymphedema issues. And unfortunately, avocados and olive oil and even olives sometimes, but I have found one brand of green olives that I can have a few of them occasionally and they don't cause the fluid retention and swelling.
Do black olives have the same effect as
Yes,
green olives on people?
actually, well, look, on people.
Well, I mean with that condition.
Well, no, see, you could have 5 people with lymphedema and they could just chug all the olives in the world and it wouldn't affect
Me.
them. Yeah, that's her. She can have all the olives. For
Okay.
me, black olives are worse than green olives.
Oh,
And I have to be careful of the brand of green olive. And I definitely can't have any with like stuffed with garlic or pimento or any of that stuff. And they have to not have citric acid in the fluid. because that just inflames me something terrible. So, tomato paste, tomato sauces, stewed tomatoes in a can, all of those, they usually have citric acid in them, as does like pickle relish and stuff like that. I can't eat anything with citric acid. It just inflames me something terrible. So I'm a unique individual who's the original problem child of this group because, oh, I can't eat that. I can't eat that. I can't eat that. I swell with this. I swell with that. I mean, I can eat a piece of bread, regular wheat bread, and gain 5 to 8 pounds of fluid
Oh, yeah, I
retention.
can't touch it.
I am there with you on that one.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't touch it. I can't.
Yeah.
That would put me in the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very bad. Although there are times I still think I can have, a little bit of wheat.
No.
No,
I
no,
can't
no.
even walk down the wheat aisle, just smelling the bread in the in the bread aisle. I can't walk down that aisle.
I used
Yeah.
to jokingly tell people all I have to do is look at a cookie and I'll gain 15 pounds.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
yeah, I have so it's funny, foods have been so angry to me that they don't call me anymore. Like I have no cravings for the foods that make me sick anymore, gratefully. So
That's a blessing.
it is a blessing.
yeah, I never crave chicken because chicken causes a lot of swelling and stomach upset. Never crave chicken. I mean, the fried chicken, it looks good. It kind of smells good to me too, but oh no, I'm never tempted by that. And beef, anything beef makes me have shortness of breath. So, my daughter can have a taco salad or a juicy burger or something, and it's like, oh
Do you
no.
have a mast cell condition?
Me? I've
Yeah.
never been diagnosed with
Oh.
mast cell condition, but I have
It just
enough
sounds
problems.
you just sound very reactive, and someone had
Oh, I
mentioned
am.
it to me one time, whether I had that or not. I haven't been diagnosed either, but it came to mind. That's why I raised it.
Yeah. But my family, we just thought we were fat people, who had swelling issues, but then we found out we actually have lymphedema problems. And
Yeah.
my sister, her lower body got so huge, and the upper body was small,
Right.
regular
That's exactly.
size.
Yeah.
Yeah. But her
Yeah,
lower
I'm trying to
body,
get diagnosed and dealing with different groups on that myself. So
yeah. And yeah, it was tough. She didn't have heart disease or diabetes or anything. It was lymphedema, and it's the devil, I tell you.
yes.
And so now that I'm 61, I struggle that I don't end up like my sister, because she ended up weighing 500 pounds, and the vast majority was fluid.
Yep.
I mean,
Most of
she,
it out of her control too, unfortunately.
yes,
The disease does that. Yeah.
yes. And, nobody knew what it was. Everybody, she's like, I seem to have, just so much fluid. I mean, she could push on any area of her leg
Yeah.
and fluid would come out the pores,
Yeah.
and they're like, well, you're just fat,
No.
stop eating the donuts. And she's
No.
like, I don't eat donuts,
Right. No, I know. And it's unfortunate, but yeah, it is that it's a heinous disease that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, well, ladies, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna turn off the recorder, and tonight I'm actually going to remember to post this. So good night, and hope to see everybody next week. And take care, and be good. All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks. You too.